Hi, we're Jen and Chris Corsi with Thrive Today. And today we want to talk to you a little bit about the fact that you might be a long way into this thing here, and you may kind of calm down from some of the initial fears, fear of the virus, fear of all of that, but there might be new fears cropping up for you right now. We might be in a state where they've lessened restrictions and we're afraid that there's going to be a new spike in viruses. We might be in a state where things are still really locked down and we're afraid of what it's doing to the economy or if we're ever going to be able to see our friends again. You might be in a high-risk category and afraid that you're never going to see your friends again. You're never going to be allowed to leave your house again. And we might be all feeling that fear of how long is this going to drag on?
Yeah, and you know what? As you've heard me talk in previous videos, your brain always looks back to predict what's going to happen next. And so when you look back on these 8 weeks, your brain just says, you know what? This is going on forever and ever and ever. There's going to be no end to it. And then our fears get amped up. Mm-hmm. And you know, your brain has two types of fear. You have the fear that you're relational and you want to share the fear. And then you have a deeper fear that needs quieted. It's kind of your survival circuit fear. And that's the fear where if Jen sees a mouse in the garage, she's going to move really fast and jump on top of our car. That's a fear of just trying to make this stop. And so you might notice there's some fears you feel these really intense feelings. You just want this to stop. And there's fears that, you know what, I don't like this. I need to share this with somebody. But the goal is to recognize these fears. You know what fears do I have? And a lot of us, we don't like to admit that we feel afraid or we feel some fear. But you know what? It's good to recognize that, I do have some fears. I'm afraid that we're going to run out of money. We're not going to be able to pay our bills. I'm afraid that I might catch this virus and I'm high risk, or I'm afraid this thing's just never going to end, as Jen said. So whatever it is, we want to recognize it. Put some words to it. Here's what's going on. The goal is to be able to feel it, share it, and quiet it. We've talked about that sequence before with loss and attachment pain. But even with, emotions, if it's this relational fear, then we do want to recognize it. We do want to go, wow, I'm noticing this nagging fear. It's been popping up and creeping up into my mind or my interactions. Feel it, share it, connect with somebody that is really good at quieting fear. You don't want to connect with someone who's going to make the fear bigger or louder. Yeah. That's not helpful.
And then, the ultimate great thing to do with fears is to take them to God and to interact with him about them and find out, is this something that scares you, Jesus? Is this something that I need to be concerned about? What do you want me to know about this? We really might run out of money for our bills. Lord, what do you want me to know about that? Is there something I need to do about that? Lord, what do you have for me in this right now?
Yes, I've always appreciated Jim Wilder's perspective on this. And he likes to say, you know what? Well, why don't you ask Jesus and see if he's worried about this? Because when he's worried about it, we know we've got a big problem. And every time I've practiced that, I've yet to find that moment, that time where Jesus is worried. But what I do find is when I notice God's presence, the feelings become more manageable. It helps me to quiet. And it's just a life-giving to say, God, what do you see when you look at this? Because what I see is Goliath, and he's big and he's scary and he's loud and he's obnoxious. But Lord, what do you see? And then I see that God sees an opportunity here, an opportunity to find his presence and his peace in all of these new places. So this is a perspective we want to encourage you with today, to really recognize those fears, and let's invite God into this and grab some peace.
And in truth, if you're married and you're going through this together, you might have similar fears. You might have opposite fears. And it might be driving kind of a wedge between you even. And so another great resource is the 4 Habits of Joy-Filled Marriages book. This is really great for helping you connect with your spouse and close that joy gap in your marriage, just to bring some joy in the midst of where these fears might be eating away at that joy.
Yes, very helpful, because a lot of our marriages are just feeling the strain. So this is a great time to build some joy and to turn down the volume on that fear.
And in fact, with the book, there's also on YouVersion, there's a 6-day reading plan. And just since March, we've had over 20,000 subscribers to it, because people are really feeling that in their marriages and that need to close that joy gap when that fears are eating away at it.
Yeah, there's some good exercises there. So we really encourage you to try that out.